Here's something that doesn't make sense. We have more ways to communicate than ever before. Smartphones, video calls, instant messaging, social media. Yet parents and teenagers are fighting more than any previous generation. How is that possible? Think about it. Your grandparents had one phone in the house. They talked at dinner. That was it. But somehow, they seem to understand each other better than families do today. What's going on here? The answer might surprise you. It's not about the tools at all. It's about what those tools are doing to our brains, our expectations, and our relationships. And once you understand this, everything about modern family conflict starts to make sense. Let's start with a fundamental truth. Communication tools and actual communication are not the same thing. Having a smartphone doesn't mean you're communicating well. It just means you have the ability to send messages. Big difference. Consider what happens in a typical family today. Mom texts her teenager to come down for dinner. The teen responds with a thumbs up emoji. 5 minutes later, mom texts again. No response. 10 minutes later, she's standing at the bottom of the stairs yelling. The teen finally appears, annoyed, saying they already responded. Mom is frustrated because an emoji isn't a real answer. And just like that, a fight starts over something that shouldn't be a fight at all. This scenario plays out in millions of homes every single day. The technology that was supposed to make communication easier has actually made it more complicated. Why? Because digital communication strips away context, tone, and emotional nuance. An emoji can mean anything. A short text can sound rude when it wasn't meant to be. Silence can feel like rejection when someone is just busy. But there's something deeper happening here. Something that goes beyond just misunderstanding texts. The real issue is that parents and kids are living in fundamentally different worlds now. And technology has accelerated this divide faster than any generation gap in history. Parents grew up in a world where privacy was normal. Where you could make mistakes without them being photographed and shared online. Where your social life happened in person, not on screens. Where boredom was just part of life, not something to be immediately fixed with entertainment. Kids today have never known that world. They've grown up with constant connectivity. With their entire social lives documented online. With the expectation that they should always be reachable, always responsive, always available. This creates a completely different set of values, priorities, and stress points. Here's where it gets really interesting. Parents often don't understand the real pressures their kids face online. They see a teenager on their phone and think they're just wasting time. But that teenager might be navigating complex social dynamics, dealing with cyberbullying, managing their online reputation, or feeling pressure to maintain a perfect image on social media. Meanwhile, kids don't understand why their parents seem so paranoid about screen time and online safety. To them, the digital world is just the world. It's where their friends are. Where their social life happens. Where they learn, create, and express themselves. Being told to put the phone down feels like being told to stop living their life. This fundamental disconnect creates constant friction. Parents set rules based on their understanding of the world. Kids resist those rules because they don't match the reality of their actual lives. Both sides feel misunderstood. Both sides feel like the other isn't listening. And the irony is, they're both right. Now let's talk about expectations. This is huge. Communication technology has created an expectation of immediate response that never existed before. When you send a text, you expect an answer within minutes. When you don't get one, you feel ignored. This creates anxiety and resentment on both sides. Parents feel disrespected when their kids don't respond immediately. Kids feel suffocated by the constant demand for their attention. Neither side is wrong. They're just operating under different assumptions about what communication should look like. And nobody taught us how to navigate this because it's all so new. There's also the issue of oversharing versus privacy. Parents today have access to information about their kids that previous generations never had. They can track their location, monitor their online activity, see their grades in real time, read their messages if they want to. This level of surveillance would have been unthinkable 30 years ago. Some parents use these tools thinking they're being responsible, keeping their kids safe, staying involved in their lives. But kids experience this as an invasion of privacy, as a lack of trust, as evidence that their parents see them as incompetent or untrustworthy. This creates resentment and rebellion, which leads to more conflict, which leads to more monitoring. It's a vicious cycle. Here's another critical factor. The pace of change is too fast for traditional parenting wisdom to keep up. Your parents could raise you mostly the same way they were raised. The world hadn't changed that much. But today's parents are trying to raise kids in a world that looks nothing like their own childhood. All the old rules and advice don't necessarily apply anymore. Should you let your 10-year-old have a smartphone? What age is appropriate for social media? How much screen time is too much? How do you teach digital citizenship? How do you protect your kids from online dangers without being overprotective? These are brand new questions that nobody has definitive answers to. So parents are making it up as they go along, often making mistakes, and kids are paying the price for that trial and error. Then Therese, the comparison trap. Social media doesn't just affect kids. It affects parents too. They see other families who seem perfect online. They worry their kids aren't measuring up. They pressure their children to achieve more, do more, be more. This creates stress and conflict. Kids feel like they're never good enough. Parents feel like they're failing. Everyone is miserable, and a lot of it stems from comparing real life to everyone else's highlight reel. Let's talk about attention. This is perhaps the most overlooked aspect of the whole problem. Communication tools are supposed to help us connect. But they're actually fragmenting our attention in ways that make real connection harder. You can be in the same room with someone and both be on your phones, completely disconnected from each other. This happens in families constantly. Dinner used to be sacred family time. Now everyone is checking notifications. Parents are answering work emails. Kids are texting friends. Everyone is physically present but mentally absent. And when you try to have a real conversation in this fragmented state, it doesn't go well. People feel unheard, unimportant, like they're competing with a screen for attention. And they are. There's also a fundamental shift in how conflict works. In the past, arguments happened face to face. You could see the other person's expression, hear their tone, read their body language. This helped de-escalate things. It's harder to stay angry when you can see you're hurting someone you love. But now conflicts often happen over text. Messages get misinterpreted. Things escalate quickly. Hurtful things get said that wouldn't be said in person. And once it's in writing, it's permanent. You can't take it back. Another issue is the echo chamber effect. Kids spend time online in communities that reinforce their views. Parents do the same thing. Both sides become more entrenched in their positions, more convinced they're right, less willing to see the other's perspective. This polarization happens in politics, but it also happens in families. And it makes compromise and understanding much harder to achieve. Here's something most people don't realize. The brain's reward system gets hijacked by digital communication in ways that make face-to-face interaction less satisfying. Every notification triggers a little dopamine hit. Your brain starts craving that. Real conversation doesn't provide the same immediate reward. So people, especially young people whose brains are still developing, start preferring digital interaction to in-person connection. This fundamentally changes family dynamics in ways we're only beginning to understand. There's also the issue of performative communication. Kids today are used to curating their online presence, presenting a certain image. This carries over into family communication. They're less authentic, less willing to be vulnerable, more concerned with how they come across. This makes it harder for parents to really know what's going on with their kids. Harder to connect on a deep level. And when parents sense this distance, they often respond by pushing harder, which makes kids retreat further. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Parents are often hypocrites about technology use. They tell their kids to put their phones away while they're constantly checking their own. They set screen time limits for their children but not for themselves. They lecture about the dangers of social media while scrolling through Facebook. Kids notice this. It undermines parental authority and creates resentment. You can't effectively enforce rules you don't follow yourself. There's also a skills gap that nobody talks about. Many parents aren't digitally literate enough to guide their kids effectively. They don't understand the platforms their kids use. Don't know what's normal online behavior and what's concerning. Don't have the knowledge to teach digital safety and citizenship. So they either become overly permissive because they don't know what to restrict, or overly restrictive because everything seems dangerous. Neither approach works well. Another factor is the loss of downtime. Previous generations had built-in breaks from each other. Parents went to work. Kids went to school. Everyone had their own space and time. But now, technology means you're always reachable. Always connected. There's no natural separation. This constant proximity without actual quality time creates tension. People need space. They need time to miss each other. Technology has eliminated that, and it's causing problems. Let's talk about solutions. Because understanding the problem is only half the battle. The first step is recognizing that more communication tools don't equal better communication. Quality matters more than quantity. One real conversation is worth 100 text messages. Families need to prioritize face-to-face time. No phones at dinner. Regular family meetings. Dedicated time for actual connection. Second, parents need to model the behavior they want to see. If you want your kids to put their phones away, you need to put yours away too. If you want them to be present during family time, you need to be present. If you want them to have healthy digital habits, you need to demonstrate those habits yourself. Kids learn more from what you do than what you say. Third, both sides need to make an effort to understand each other's worlds. Parents should learn about the platforms and pressures their kids face. Ask questions. Stay curious. Don't judge. Kids should try to understand why their parents worry. Recognize that rules come from love, even if they're sometimes misguided. Empathy goes both ways. Fourth, families need clear, consistent boundaries around technology use. But these boundaries should be created together, not imposed from above. When kids have input into the rules, they're more likely to follow them. Have a family discussion. What's reasonable? What's not? What are the consequences for breaking agreements? Get everyone's buy-in. Fifth, recognize that conflict isn't always bad. Disagreement is normal. Healthy even. The goal isn't to eliminate all fighting. It's to fight fair. To communicate respectfully even when you disagree. To repair the relationship after conflicts. To learn and grow from disagreements rather than letting them create permanent damage. Finally, remember that this is all new territory. Nobody has it figured out. Every family is navigating this together. Cut yourself some slack. Cut your family members some slack. Make mistakes. Learn from them. Adjust. The fact that you're thinking about these issues means you care. And that's the most important thing. So here's the bottom line. Parents and kids fight more despite better communication tools because those tools have fundamentally changed how we interact, what we expect from each other, and how we understand the world. Technology has accelerated the generation gap faster than our ability to adapt to it. The solution isn't to reject technology. It's to use it more intentionally. To prioritize real connection over constant connectivity. To recognize that the tools are just tools. They can help or hurt depending on how we use them. The choice is ours.